In the next few minutes we're going to show you how to install the Magneplate for the Tesla Model S. It's also been installed on a BMW 5 Series with the M package, but this was purpose-built, purpose-designed for the Tesla Model S. Have the grill out of a Tesla Model S here, make it easier to see how the install goes. But this is the packaging. Comes in a USPS priority mail small package. Contents include an instruction manual and magnetic plate frame. We won't be using the instruction manual, but you may find it helpful. We'll get everything covered in the video. Vacuum packed bag of parts. We'll go over those in a second. And as I mentioned, the rubber plate frame. Installation tools that you'll need are a pair of scissors and a Phillips screwdriver. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. So, number of pieces for the installation kit. 2 installation tools, talk about those here in a second, and then a series of parts bags numbered 1 through 7, with rubber license plate frame being number 5. So number 1, these are the hitches. Bag 2 is some thread locker and a Q-tip for application. Bag 3 are the caps for the hitches and some protective covers. Bag 4 is a piece of adhesive tape with an embedded magnet for the magnetic plate frame reminder. And then 5, as I mentioned, is the rubber plate frame. 6 are the receivers. And then 7 are the license plate screws. So we're not going to need 4, 5, 6, or 7 for right now. We'll put those guys off to the side. What we are going to need is bags 1, 2, and in a little while 3. So bag 1 has the hitches, and they come preset, basically ready for installation. The only thing you need to do is remove the cap and the installation screw. This guy right here comes off like so. You've got a stainless steel washer and a rubber washer underneath it. Leave those like that. And you've got the set screw for installation and the standoff there. Same on the other one. You've got obviously 2 of these. So break those 2 guys apart. Open up bag number 2, which is the thread locker and Q-tip. Actually take the piece of paper out as well. Little piece of cardboard in here. We're going to use that as a mixing tray, if you will, for the goo for the thread locker. Need the thread locker a little bit. And before we open this guy up, what you want to do is measure and determine where you actually want to put the hitches. I'm going to recommend where it makes the most sense, especially given some upgrades that were in the works for a permanent plate mount, as well as license plate tag, an external license plate tag mount. So again, this is the grill off the Model S. The Tesla logo would be up here above for part of the nose cone. So you want to find the center line. We know the center line is here, and I'm going to recommend that this is the slot, so it's 3 banks over. It's 1, 2, 3 banks over, and it's the first full honeycomb underneath the nose cone that comes down. You can see the tab here, but on your car you may want a flashlight and probably need maybe a set of helping hands to assist, but it'll be tough to see this part. So just remember, off the center line, 3 banks over here, and same to the other direction. So center bank, center line, 3 banks over right here. So that's where we're going to install the two hitches. Another way is this. You want to hold it so the letters and you can read it. Butt this up against the bottom of the nose cone and then slide it left and right, and you'll see where these indentations, they match the profile of the hitches, is actually going to sit, and that'll give you a pretty quick idea of where it wants to go. So up against it, slide it back and forth. It'll show you the bank. You may want to use a piece of tape and mark a little spot here just so you know that this is the one and that's the one. But whatever works for you will be okay. So with that, let's go ahead and open up the thread locker. again, this is for anti-vibration to help keep the hitch in place. Just cut this off and then push it out, squirt it out. We're not necessarily going to require a whole lot, but definitely a bit. Get some on the end of the Q-tip, and then on the tip of the threads, you kind of want to work it in. You don't want to leave a lot on the surface, so to speak. Just work that in a little bit, clean it up like so, and then just screw this on a little bit, not too much. And the reason you don't want it to go on too much is because you need this pushed back as you insert it in the grill. You're going to insert, it's going to be a tight fit, that's by design. Give it a little push. Again, you're not going to be able to get your hands around anything, and the nose cone comes over and this part of the bumper comes out a bit, so you're going to have to push it in, and then always turn it clockwise, but you're not going to be able to turn the fins, and that's where this little device comes in handy. And use this to kind of get it started a bit, turn down, and again, you're going to have to get your head down there and maneuver your way in, but you can see here that the fin is basically vertical. That's where you want it, and that's the right position. And then again, I'd go back to this. The ideal mounting spot is 3/8 of an inch off of the corner here. So these are in eighths, so just set that up there like that. Find your 3/8. Move this guy, just kind of walk him over. 1, 2, 3/8. You're pretty close. The reason that you want it 3/8 is that for a lower hitch option, that would be for a more permanent mount for driving, there's only one spot down here and these honeycombs aren't set symmetrical. So just trust me, that's the ideal spot to put it. If you can put it there, that'd be a great spot to put it. Once you get that guy in the right spot, go ahead and tighten it down. And again, the screw, before you screw it, just finger tight. So pull it back towards you, turn it, turn it until you get a little tight. You may want to use this to help keep those fins in the vertical position. It's not working so good. But again, you got plenty of time. Just get it set right. Turn it in. Get it not just barely finger tight so that you can give this guy a little bit of a walk. We'll check the measurement again. That looks pretty close. So again, once you've got it finger tight and it's not going to move, then you can go ahead and you can continue tightening by hand if you can get your fingers in there. But screwdriver, and again, turn. You may need to use that little stick to help keep it from spinning. But the rubber on the back of the rubber on the top of the fins, right on the top there, I'll show you on the other one here in a second, is meant to grab and protect the back side of the grill. So you turn it until it's very difficult to turn. Don't try and over tighten it, because what you'll end up doing is you'll just turn those fins in the back and then it'll pull right out. It's actually set so that you can't over tighten it, you can't damage the grill. It's set for the right depth, so you're good in that sense. Again, we'll take a look at this one. This is the rubber on the back. Maybe a little bit difficult to see, but there's a rubber coating here, and it's only on the top part. It's not on the back. But again, that grabs against it to prevent it from turning a bit, and also a little bit of a cushion on the back side. So same deal here. We're going to put some thread locker here to help keep it from vibrating loose over time. Looks pretty good. On this particular one, again, go ahead and get it just barely on, but undo, take this set screw, the install screw here out, and it'll become obvious here in a second why we're doing this, but set that aside. So again, now you've got just this guy, and again, center bank, 3 over, first one down, put it in. Again, always turn to the right, so turn it to the right, don't turn it too far. If you keep turning it to the right and you're not actually getting the back to go vertical, you're going to end up too tight, you're not going to be able to get it done. So I strongly encourage you, use this tool and keep an eye on that, and don't turn it too much or you're going to end up, you know, compressing too much. So here, back to this guy, you know, place this on the edge there, and then this over here on this edge, and again wiggle it until you've got it in the right spot. This is the right distance for US license plate. It's 7 inches on center across. So again, pretty simple little installation tool for you. Turn this guy by hand by pulling back. Don't push. Make sure you're kind of pulling back a little bit as you do that. Make sure the fins are vertical. Check it once or twice. Once you're comfortable that you know, it's not going to move, it's not going to walk on you, take it off. The reason that you want to do this without the screw on is if you've got both screws on there and you've got this in there, it's going to be on there until you take the set screws out. So anyway, and then screw this guy in by hand, screw it in, and same routine. Phillips screwdriver. Don't use a power screwdriver, you'll end up potentially spinning the back and it'll pull out. You just want to tighten that until this screw bottoms out on the screw beneath it. You can feel it, and that's basically it for at least this step in the installation process. The advice would be let it sit for an hour, ideally overnight, but at least an hour or two, because you're not going to be able to take these out without the back spinning. I can take them out here because I can get my hands behind it, but as I mentioned, the nose cone comes over, you've got the lip underneath that comes out. It's almost impossible for you to get your hands in there. And if you use a pair of pliers or something like that, you may damage the finish on the standoff. So again, I would encourage you to just let it sit ideally overnight, and then next morning all you do is come in and just give it a little turn. It'll break free in the counterclockwise position, right? And then all you gotta do is a little bit, and then it'll come right off in your fingers. Again, because the standoff itself has been set with the thread locker to not come off. This one, same deal. You know, give it a little turn. It should break free. If you try and back it off after 5 or 10 minutes, you're just gonna undo the standoff. And then you've got a loose scenario. Not a good thing to do. So again, let it sit overnight if you can. So there you go. So now we're at this point. This is where bag 3 comes into play. Bag 3 has got the caps that go on there, as well as 2 protective covers, and I'll show you those here. Caps go on. These are the steel caps. This is what the magnets and the receivers are attracted to. Just spin these guys on. They go on nice and easy. You don't need thread locker here. Finger tight is good. Again, you'll be able to do that from the front of your car. Same on this side. So you've got the caps on now. We've got protective washers. Again, this washer here is stainless steel that's been powder coated black, but it's still the sand, the grit in the northern areas where they use salt and those types of things for snow and ice. This is going to get a beating from road rash, and I think even in the warmer climates, just stuff on the road that gets kicked up is gonna wear this finish off. So to protect the finish, just slide this black washer. It goes over the standoff and the cap, and protects that particular part there. So we've got 2 of those, 1 on each side. Like I said, they go right over, and that's basically it. There are some cap protectors. This protects the tip from its abuse because it's the one that's actually sticking out. You put this on just a little bit. Don't put it on all the way. You know, maybe 1/4 of an inch. And if you're going to turn it to the right. But you know, just a little bit. If you push it all the way on, it's going to be very difficult to take off. You'll have to get your fingers in there. It's just really tough. And you don't need it. It doesn't need to be on that firm. Taking it off is easy. If you didn't put it all the way on, you can give it a little squeeze, a little pinch, and turn it clockwise, and it comes right off. Same on the other side. And at this point, you're ready to you'd be ready to mount your license plate. So let's go ahead and do the license plate install. You're going to want to keep the install screws that were part of the hitch kit for installation in the event that you want to uninstall it at some point. So I keep those guys on the side. I'm going to keep these on the side here, and we're done with this as well. So let's move on to the first step in plate installation. That's taking the there's this piece of adhesive tape that's got a magnet in it and a magnet embedded in it. I'm not actually gonna do it because I've got something set up, but you would peel the piece of tape back, find a nice flat spot on your license plate from behind, stick this on the back of the license plate so that the magnetic tag reminder goes on the front of the plate, and it's like that. So magnetic sticks there. So this would go on the plate, and then you would take the plate frame. Again, I'm not going to take this one out and do it in the spirit of time, but as you put the plate in the frame, you want to make sure that as you start on one of the sides, you get it pushed all the way flush as this peels back, because once the plate starts on here, it's actually not going to slide, and you can end up with the plate bowing a little bit if it's not put in there right. And some of the plates in the US, they're not quite the exact size, so you may have a little bit of a bow, or you may need to trim a little bit of the plate with a pair of tin snips, but you should be okay. So moving on, you've got the, put this back, you've got the receivers. These are magnetically loaded. This was one of the things that took a long time to get. So stainless steel insert, magnet embedded in the bottom. This has been cut back. I'll explain that in a second. There's a purpose for that. Same here, and threaded. So once you've got your plate in the rubber frame like this, again, the magnet's taped to the back of the license plate. So you get this. It's a reminder. Some people think it's kind of kooky, but I'll explain how it's used and why it's important in a minute. So license plate, receivers, we need receiver screws in bag 7. These guys come out as well. Screws and the neoprene bonded washer is stainless steel. Again, these are there's a little bit of curvature in the washer to help from a grabbing perspective. Push those through. I don't know if you can quite see that, but the screw sticks out just a little bit. Again, by design, screw this on. Don't screw it all the way on so that it's super tight. Just screw it on until it's not going to fall off. Again, I'll explain that in a second. Same deal on the other side. Get the screw to poke through a little bit, and then you know, a little finger tight type job will be just fine. And the reason you want to be able to move this a little bit, and again, it's as you go to put this on the hitches, it just slides right over. And again, the way that I like to install it, hold the plate frame, hold the plate like this. These fingers, they're guide fingers. Put the fingers here. Again, it's easy and it looks easy here, but when you're bending down in front of your car and you can't really see, you want to use these fingers to find the 2 pins, you know, basically here like this, and then use that to guide the receivers over the pins, and then you want to kind of slide it on together at the same time so that you don't end up with the plate being torqued one way or the other. It will just snap right into place and you're good. So at this point, you know, check the alignment of the plate. If it goes on nice and easy and you're in good shape, go ahead and tighten these down. You don't have to get them super tight. Again, you won't be able to get your hand back there. So you just tighten it down until it feels as if it's pseudo tight, and then you can go ahead and take it off and then tighten them down extra tight. So I think that's probably good enough. Taking the plate off, same routine. Use your fingers, put them behind the plate, right where the receiver meets the plate frame, and then just give it a little pull. The magnets are very powerful. They've got between 4 and 5 pounds of pull force, which isn't tough for you to do once it's stationary on the car. Pulling it off the car is easy. This isn't fixed to anything now, so I've got to monkey with it a bit. But make sure you pull right here off of these guys, as opposed to just grabbing the back of the frame and pulling, because all you'll end up doing is bending the frame. there's no way you'll pull the magnetic attraction at these points is very strong. So like I said, just use that and pull it off. And with that, you are effectively done. So again, keep the reminder on the plate. Keep this in your trunk or wherever you want in the car. When you go to install the plate on the car, take the reminder off, put it on your front seat, and then install this here. When you come back, if you forget the plate when you open the door in the car, you see this and you're like, right, I've got to get out and take the plate off the front. Strongly encourage you to not drive with the plate on the car in this configuration, because if we put this back on, you'll see that without any lower hitch protectors, your plate is gonna move, and in the wind it's gonna blow and blow and blow. And again, you've got part of your bumper. There's a finished piece of chrome right here. You can end up with rubbing. It's got a rubber protector, but I would not drive like that with it on. For those that are interested in a driving option, and a number of people have indicated that they are, we've got an option that we're working on that basically has two receivers on the bottom here, two receivers on the bottom of the plate, just like here. And I'll pause for a second and then show you what that looks like. There's also another option for the toll tag collector for an external one, and that would go down here. And I'll stop the video and install those two pins down here in the right spot, and then show you what that looks like. So Magneplate, this one's for the Tesla Model S, and available today.